Thank you for being here. You're here on a special day, I'll tell you that.
Why is it not working, Jonesy?
They don't want to be locked into a house or an apartment.
Got to follow the social distancing rule.
And some nuff dicks were getting tested, then going in and doing a shop.
COVID. I had it.
Detective George Bennett.
Yeah, he's a bellend. Absolutely.
George, don't say hello to you. Like,
I don't know. I'm actually genuinely embarrassed.
I broke my back.
A vertebrae or a portion?
Spinal.
I think you could.
Mate, Jonesy, just do that thing where you just put Bewls talking and let me see I can hear him first.
Well, guys, this is going to be potentially the greatest or the worst episode we've ever done. We've lost George already.
Yeah, I don't have high hopes, Sam. This could end the whole podcast. This could be it. This could be the last lap.
We've spent a lot of time and effort into developing websites, getting the merchandise set up, which is still not set up. We've done a lot of work over the last 10 days, and it could all collapse on the back of my massive hangover, George's shit internet, and an array of other things.
George, do you even want to be here? Let's be honest.
Not really. I mean, I don't even have any pants on yet. I've just come out of the shower. I missed half of that intro and just managed to get my earphones in as Bewls was telling how excited he was for this episode. And mate, I don't even
pants off Monday.
Hangover. You look bad.
Oh, bro, yeah.
I might not have pants
even
on.
Worse.
Like, I might not have any pants on. I might not have any internet. I might not have a microphone. I might be doing this on a 20% battery iPhone, but I'm doing better than Bewls. I know that.
What happened, Bewls? You got excited at Flanders. You saddled up for a session with Daryl Impey, and you just could not hold the wheel. You did a bloody Alaphilippe, and you've smashed straight into the back of a parked motorbike.
Mate, he hit that motorbike half the speed that I hit to whatever the fuck I hit. Because I went to Daryl's to watch Flanders.
The Jack Daniels.
Yeah, to watch Flanders at midday. And I came home not long.
Let's just say you got home late.
I got home very late. We polished off half a bottle of whiskey after a number of beers, bit of vino. I feel like shit. Plain and simple.
Do you even know who won Flanders?
Yeah. I was talking to Jonesy actually when we were watching Flanders. We were thinking, this is our chance. We're going to get Wout van Aert on the show as the Flanders winner.
Yeah, we were cheering on Wout.
Picked by half a length from a cyclocross, mate.
We thought, well, that's fucked. He's not coming on the show now. He wouldn't have come on if he won anyway.
Yeah, either way, we weren't getting him on, were we?
No.
But it's funny when I was talking to Daryl, like he was in pretty good spirits, and it was 1 o'clock when they finished here in Australia. Daryl's like, "Come on, mate, go pour yourself a whiskey. Have a whiskey with your old mate Daryl." I said, "Daryl, it's 1 a.m. I'm not going to start the process now. Well, wind it into 4. Forget that shit."
It was like 3:30 in the afternoon. Yeah.
Did he hit you with you've changed, Jonesy? You used to be
cool. He's one of those drinkers that, like, his decibels go up. You know, he gets louder and louder and louder, and then just gets more lippy. And by the end, you're just like, shit. If you're on the same level, it'd be great. But no, I wasn't.
Yeah. You know, I've got a few mates like that are. You only realize how loud they get, or how if you know what a scene they make or whatever. I mean, Daryl's are the best of them actually compared to the New Zealanders are generally 10 times worse. And if you're not on their level, they're terrible people to go out with. But I mean, it's a great time if you're there with them. But if you're sort of, you know, if you're just not feeling it, you come in a bit late and they've already been parked up at the Irish for 2 hours, and then you get to come down for a quiet beer. You want to nick a bottle of wine on your way down to there, just so you can.
Yeah, mate. The break's gone. You're not going to get them back. You're better off just packing it in, getting in the bus, broom wagon, just going home.
Hey,
you're doing the chasse patate when you make it halfway across to the break, and then you don't get there, and then you just get humiliated.
It's a good question now. What is the ultimate hangover cure? What works?
Well, I'll tell you what I just had. I feel marginally better after doing it. It was a couple of nights ago. I made some macaroni and cheese. I cooked macaroni and cheese. I'd never done it before, and I thought, it was pretty cold. It was dark early. It's just good comfort food. I thought, I'll make macaroni and cheese, and I thought, since I brought the cooking show, Bewls in the Kitchen back, I thought,
oh yeah, I'll talk to you about that. Oh.
Yeah, I'll do a test run. Because I never made it before. It seemed pretty simple. For sure, I cooked it up. It was like the sauce was like tubular glue. When you glue on tires onto your wheels, that glue is like you ain't getting
claggy,
it off. You're not getting it off your hands. That's what the sauce. It was like a paste. Anyway, I reheated that this morning.
Do you think it's just made a bit of blockage in your guts just to settle and just stop things moving around a bit? Sealed the exits.
It's like insulation in your roof, like the pink bats.
Oh, we're going to put plenty of that insulation in now that Jacinda's back in power. Plenty of insulation. She loves them. She loved insulation.
Yeah, so you'd be stoked, George. You're Jacinda.
Yeah, I think Bewls is probably Bewls. I was very proud of New Zealand. New Zealand. When do we know if we're legalizing marijuana or not?
6th of November, I think, or 8th of November, isn't it?
Oof. Okay. Seems a long time to count a yes or no vote. Speaking of your cooking, I saw the other day, I woke up in the morning and I went on the internet and I scrolled down and all I got was the, "Hey guys!" And I had this knee-jerk reaction and I just threw my phone across the room and
"G'day guys!"
Where did you get all that energy, Bewls? Because that was like a kid that's just that episode of The Simpsons, where they drink that really thick squishy?
Yeah.
And they're just like the mega squishy. Yeah.
No,
that's what it was like.
I've got about 2 minutes of that energy in me once a week.
Yeah.
But people seem to enjoy it.
The kilojoules coming out of your phone, hey? That's worse than going down to the Irish pub when Shane Archibald's down there for 5 hours and you've come in sober. That's what I feel like, rolling out of bed in the morning. And I also can tell that you know what you need. You know how like people that get breathalyzer, like have heaps of DUIs and they have to they can only start their car with a breathalyzer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have to blow under. I feel like you need that with your phone sometimes. Like after 8 p.m. you need to blow into your phone before you social media. Because I feel like you get an absolute skinful and you go, "I've got a fucking good idea. I'm going to show these guys how to fucking sweep the floors."
Yeah.
"Hey guys!" Fuck, wake up in the morning and you go,
what about how intense the hand signals are? 2.
Yeah.
You need 2?
Oh god! And the problem is, it's like all good. Most people in Europe didn't see it, but there's New Zealand, and it's a time zone thing. So that's festered out there before you've deleted some of your worser ones. That's done a full 12-hour shift on the internet in New Zealand for people to see. And
Billy,
then you've woken up and gone,
did you upload it to YouTube, Billy?
Nah.
It's just on. What is it on?
Twitter.
Okay. Well, I'll see with this technology. I might be able to dig it up live. So.
Hey guys!
I think we need to give people a taste.
Yeah. You keep talking.
Look, honestly, I wake up every morning, I'm embarrassed. I look in the mirror, I look at myself in the eyes, and I think to myself, what the fuck have I become? But I think
you are the person you would have bullied. Like, you imagine yourself 5 years ago watching that video. Imagine if you sat down 5 years ago and looked at that video.
All
you would have gone,
here it is.
I'm going to do boxing lessons to teach myself how to punch myself in the face.
Hang on. I'm trying to work this technology out live. Can you hear the audio?
No, but you don't need to. Look, you just look at him.
Look at his fingers. Who is this guy?
Yeah, so you can't hear the audio.
No,
I can't hear the audio. How many beers deep are you in this?
No, the thing is that I do half these things sober.
Three signals again. and then it's back and forth, and then there's got to be another fingers coming soon. So it's just, there's a fixed palm, a lot of hands, and then we surely finish it. Oh, there's more hands, more head nods, hands up, and look at that mouth.
Are you wearing a sombrero in this video? Like a
never
like a poncho?
Never like a gift horse in the mouth, as they say.
You could use this as like a ventriloquist. Hi guys.
Do you know what, though? It has the enthusiasm of somebody who's actually just been snorting bloody coke or something in the toilets. But I just feel like there's just a lot of teeth, a lot of grinding going on, a lot of this.
It's like a horse sucking on a sugar cube.
Kids of stuff. Kids have nightmares. It's like Stephen King, It, that little clown in the bloody gutter
on the sewer.
In the sewer, yeah. Well, why don't I just add in the audio, because a lot of people listen to this podcast. So let's have a listen to Bewley's cooking tips right now.
G'day guys, first night back on the job. Look, there's 3 things to remember with cooking, and I want to just bring it back to basics night one. I'm not going to give you a menu or a recipe or show you any of that bloody crap. Let's just bring it back to the basics. When you're cooking, there's no rules. We all know that. No rules in the kitchen, absolutely. Also, 3 key things: what you're wearing, what you're drinking, what you're listening to. So I'm wearing a little poncho tonight because I am cooking a wee Hispanic meal. I'm not sure where it's from, but it's certainly Hispanic, so that's going to be a lovely little dish. Number 2, what are you drinking? Is it wine? Is it beer? Or are you drinking that hard crap? Or are you just simply on the sparkling waters? That's going to affect the 3rd thing, the music. Now, music is very, very important when it comes to cooking. If you've got a slow cooking dish like I do, a very slow, it's taking an hour and a half to cook it, you want to have music to suit that. I don't know, maybe a bit of Simon and Garfunkel, maybe, I don't know, the Beatles, something just to bring it down a level. Still a bit upbeat, but just to bring it down a level. If you're making something really quick, you might be doing a wee little tacos or little fajitas or something like that. You want something a bit more upbeat. And if you're drinking, alcohol, then you definitely want something a bit more upbeat, because you want to just groove away while you're cooking, And the last thing I will tell you, with the music and with the drinking and with the meal, if you're doing a lot of dicing and cutting, listen to something slow and don't drink, because you don't want to lose a finger. I can't wait to crack back into it, boys and girls. See you soon.
Yeah, shit house, Bewls. Shit house. You need to pull your head in, mate.
Yeah, no, look, people love it. So I figure that become an influencer, it seems like an easy way to make money. So if I can do that.
Mate, you'll make a shit ton of money out of those videos.
Influencers were the worst people on the planet. Didn't we decide that, or was that something I decided?
Yeah, but I'm one of them, bro. I'm part of it. I'm part of the revolution.
Yeah, but you're one of the worst people. That makes I love you like a brother, but that makes you one of the worst people in the world, an influencer.
Hey, George, you're at the Vuelta. It kicks off tomorrow. How G'd are you, given that you're about to start a grand tour, and it is currently the 19th of October?
How G'd am I? It's weird. Do you know what it feels like? Like I just went for a ride and we were fully rugged up. It was cold as cold. It was just cold, like that November deep winter, like toe warmers cold. And you think in about a week the clocks change, so it'll be dark at 6 p.m. and the finish is scheduled every day for 5:45. So the gruppetto's coming in the dark, and 3 weeks further from now is going to be even colder. So it's not just that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I am actually motivated because I've done nothing for a month. I've just sort of sat at home and tried to recover from the tour and all that stuff. And they're just, any race is a bonus, all that stuff. But the hardest part is that I've got all my mates in Girona. All my mates in Girona and Andorra, whatever. They're doing what Bewls is doing right now. They're reversing, or maybe they're not making podcasts and cooking videos, but they are reversing into the day. They're having a hell of a time. They're playing wall ball. Or they're probably just
They're not, bro. They're in
The
quarantine.
Giro.
Yeah, they're all in quarantine.
Yeah, I thought everything got locked down. You're making out this happy land like everyone's having fun.
No,
mate,
but
it's fucking
I
grim.
live in a fantasy. I think the reality is quite grim.
Well, why don't we
So
ask our guest who's in drone at the moment how awesome it is, Michael Hepburn.
There he is.
How good
He's a
drone
good looking
at the
man.
moment,
What's cracking?
How's isolation? George has got FOMO. He thinks that he's missing out on war ball, missing out on cricket, missing out on the Irish pub. For starters, the fucking pubs are closed. Secondly, Hippie's in isolation, quarantined for another couple of days.
I know what a good time is.
You're not missing out on anything.
Put him back in his place, Michael.
Isolation for a week, no contact with the outside world. I don't think you're missing out on much, George. At least you got some mates there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Those eyes, Happy wanted to kill you then.
Yeah.
I've had enough. 2020 this week has tipped me over the edge.
Oh,
Aren't you meant to
bullshit,
get out today? Isn't it Monday?
Sorry?
Aren't you out of there today? Is this the last day?
Yeah, I did a test this morning. So I did a test on Friday, which was negative, and then we did another one this morning. So hopefully that's all good, and then we're out.
See, and then I'll be fucking missing out.
Yeah. We're going on holiday, bro. We're getting out of this place.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What are the plans?
I don't know. Actually, talking about Ibiza.
Might just step into the clubs in Ibiza, I reckon.
Yeah.
Isn't that how Neymar got COVID? The nightclubs in Ibiza. Hey, Hippie, I went to Daryl's yesterday afternoon to watch Flanders, and you're actually a good guest to have on, because we got so deep into a bowl of whiskey that we started to dissect the theory of relativity from Albert Einstein, and you are a bit of a maths genius. Do you understand the theory of relativity? E equals mc squared. Do you know what that means?
E equals mc squared. Not really, no.
We didn't either. Well, looked into it.
Can you run me through your and Daryl's take on this?
You got into the Wizzos already in the afternoon in Flanders.
Oh no, about 7:30 or something. We started on the Wizzos.
How do you start talking about Einstein's relativity theory? How does it go down to that path?
Well, I was talking to Aiden, his son, about science.
Oh, okay.
And I was teaching him about Thomas Edison, created the light bulb, Graham Alexander Bell, who created the telephone. And then I asked him if he knew what E equals mc squared meant. He's like, what are you talking about?
Well, you've been teaching him wrong, because Edison stole the light bulb. He didn't actually create it. He ripped it off some other bloke who never got any credit for it.
Really?
So do any of us actually know what it means?
Yeah, it's energy. It's energy. Yeah, I vaguely knew what it meant. It's energy equals. Basically, what it says is that any mass or any matter can be turned into energy. But we just haven't got the ability.
Approaches the speed of light. Isn't something about approaching the speed of light? The
speed of light squared, yeah.
I'm bored already.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know if my brain can handle this at the minute.
No.
So can we get back to our guest?
Yeah.
So, Happy, talk us through it, because people actually want to know. We didn't give us any background. Happy is in isolation because he was in the Giro, and everyone knows what happened there. My team and Mitchell and Scott had to leave after a number of COVID tests. Actually, we just had one. We just had one rider, but they had a few staff members that went positive after Simon. And then this was interesting. You guys basically were about to have your race dinner on the rest day, on the first rest day, and they said, "Boys, we've got a meeting." And then what happened? Talk us from there.
Yeah, so we had after Friday's stage was when Simon he felt a bit off, so they ordered one of the rapid test crews to come along. He tested positive that night. The rest of us got tested, and there's maybe 20, like with riders and staff, there's probably 20 other people. Everyone was negative, so we continued on. Saturday night we got tested again. Everyone was negative, and then the Sunday night tested again, and we got those results back Monday night just before dinner, where we had four positive 4 positive cases, and at that time we had no idea who it was. It took another 2 hours to get the names, but yeah, basically we knew our Giro was over then. That was like right before dinner, so like we started smashing beers for dinner, basically.
And what did they say? That's it. We've got to go.
Yeah. I think like there was a lot of discussion around like Friday night when Simon went positive, and everyone else was negative. So we were still upbeat that we could continue. Then again, Saturday night more negative results. So that gave us a lot more confidence that like maybe the physical distancing and the mask and everything actually works. But then I think we all knew that if it came down to it, if there was more positives, and certainly 4 was too many, that we were over.
Oof. And then the grimmest part for me, well, that's the grimmest part, having to leave. But what I was hurting for you boys a lot then, but then when I was talking to you the next day, you said, "Yeah, mate, we're on the bus." This was about 8 a.m. the next day. You're already on the bus, so you must have left like 6:30 or something. 1,600 k's in a bus.
Yeah, we did 17 hours in a bus trip. We had like two bus drivers swapping over every few hours, and they were the legends of the day to get us home. And like 17 hours in a bus trip, it's pretty fucked up. But like at least we were coming back. At least we were coming back to like home, just down the road. So we were all pretty happy to get out of there. But it was like 6:30 in the morning, and I was walking my suitcase through the foyer of the hotel. And we were sharing with a hotel with Quickstep. And there's this Sonia from Quickstep just like looking at me, just absolutely bamboozled. Like, it's like what a rider at 6:30 in the morning is just walking out of the hotel with his suitcase. I don't think he knew what was going on, but yeah,
he wouldn't have seen that since the late 90s, when someone,
he probably thought I blew a different sort of test tube on the rest of that.
He thought you'd gone over 50. He's like, he's cocked it up. He's over 50.
Like,
he goes, "What happened? You are too many positives in the team, mate. We've got to go."
Yeah. So then, at least by Tuesday night, we're back home.
Oh, and you've been isolated in an apartment. It sucks. It's such a shit situation. You've been isolated in an apartment, 500 meters from your own home.
Yeah.
Away from your fiance. You can basically put a cup on the wall or create one of those string phone cups. What are they called? The strings and the cups and make a phone
cup.
What I'm trying to say is
it's called string in the phone cup. Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is he's close to home and he can't go home until hopefully
Thomas
this
Edison
afternoon.
created it.
Did you watch? Did you watch? No, Graham and Alexander Bell, I think. Did you watch Flanders yesterday?
Yeah, I was switching between Flanders and the Giro stage.
How's Alaphilippe, poor bastard?
Yeah.
Do you blame the motor in that situation?
That's
I don't know if I do.
I also think I don't know what they've said about it, but I don't think you can blame the motorbike entirely.
No. I agree. Yeah.
I think those guys were okay. He was in the worst position at the back because he couldn't see what the other guys could see. But I think those guys are trying to use the motorbike as much as they can, as you would if the motorbike was there.
Mm.
And that's the thing for the safety of the races. The motorbikes always have to keep going in front and behind to stop traffic at different intersections and everything like this. So
exactly.
We get up motorbikes a lot, right? But imagine if we didn't have motorbikes. Imagine what? I mean,
they are necessary. They're a necessary hazard, in a sense.
Hey, getting back to isolation and being in lockdown, I was talking to you the other night. There's been no better time in the world to commit corporate crime, has there? When they send you to house arrest for embezzling funds and that, they said, all right, you're in jail, but it'll be house arrest. You got to wear the ankle bracelet. Imagine copping that sentence in 2020. You'd be like, fuck it. All right. Actually, should have fleeced more.
The government might even pay for your Airbnb as well.
Yeah. Like, it's ridiculous.
You've been in isolation now, coming up a week. Have you you thought about putting out any cooking videos?
No. I haven't lost it that hard, mate.
What did you think of Sam?
Bullying Sam a little bit about his, but
which one?
The latest one.
Because I told him I had a need I had a knee-jerk reaction and just got to the "Hey guys!" and threw my phone across the room and out the window. So did you get further than me?
Which one's the latest one? I haven't actually.
The poncho with a hat.
I didn't actually cook anything. I just told everybody.
I don't know if I've actually watched the full video, to be honest.
So you didn't get through it. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. That's all right.
I assume you were doing Mexican then.
I wasn't doing anything. I just literally stood there and told people to listen to music while I cook.
So, Sam, just on that, what goes through your brain before you start filming? Like, is it a big build-up or is it spur of the moment? And then when do you get to the point, where's the quality control? Like, do you just go, yeah, watching it back, I'll post it? Or is this just purely instinct?
I don't watch it back. I just do it and then I just do one take and then I just post it. And then
Are you happy when you start them, or are you sad when you start them? Are you like, I'm sad, I need to pick me up, or I'm happy, I'm going to do this, get this out?
I don't know.
And what has your therapist said about these videos? Have they really dug deep into the subliminal messages of what these fingers mean? And is it mean something else?
Oh, mate, look, your guess is as good as mine. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I'm not in any shape to answer those sort of questions.
Let's take this chat offline.
All right, Hippie. We'll let Hippie go.
You got a bell end today or not?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Have we?
Well, do we want to? Well, let's bring Heppy in on the Legend of
Can we
Bell
bring
End.
Heppy in on him?
Yeah.
I'll just do a quick vote. Just give me the name and I'll tell you straight away.
Banksy.
We don't know his real name. For
Banksy, the street artist.
For sure, right?
Oh, this is like the Instagram page.
Yeah. He's the Instagram influencer
Oh, he's not on Instagram.
who paints shit. He
Don't know
is.
enough about it. Must be a bell end.
Bell End.
All right. Well, that can be our swing.
Doesn't he just like graffiti walls?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but he's the best wall graffiti artist on the planet.
It's all political and his messages, subliminal messages. You know, it's about war and hate crimes and political. He's got a political agenda, you could say, to all his shit he does. And they sell for millions of dollars. He shreds. His most famous painting that he did, the girl with the balloon, it sold for $1 million in an art auction last year or 2 years ago. And then
I've got a clip, Sam, of what happened there. So let's have a look.
He claims he built the shredder into the painting's frame in case it ever sold at auction.
400,000, 600,000, she'll bid 600,000. Last chance. And selling for 860,000.
Witnesses couldn't believe what they were seeing. We can only imagine what the buyer was thinking. The person's identity hasn't been revealed. Sotheby's claims it was shocked by the stunt. The auction house is also trying to figure out what this means for the value of the painting.
Mate, that was longer than the question I asked Gracie last week. I was watching that and I was like, did you vet this video before you put it on our podcast? Because that was fucking long.
Jeez, what's up your ass, mate? Grab another drink.
He's going to go to that lane to sabotage his painting.
Yeah, we had to tell the story.
But the thing
properly.
about that is,
how many days?
The thing about when he sabotaged, he made it worth more. Now it's worth.
It's worth double.
More.
Yeah, exactly.
It seemed like a bit of rip off to me, to be honest.
Well, So I was in New York back in October 2013, and he did this stunt in New York City. He was doing stuff every day, and he set up a mobile little store and was selling original artworks and had an old guy for one day only, selling them for $60 US. And if you bought that, I had another video, and it was about this Kiwi couple that bought two of them, but the video goes for too long, and I've got no confidence, so I'm not going to fucking play it anymore. Anyway, they bought these two paintings and sold them for like 250 grand. Awesome story. Would have loved to have shown it. Love to have shown it. No, fuck off.
Yeah, that would have been good.
All right, I'll play it, and you can watch it, and you can enjoy it. I'll play it.
Well, maybe not play it, but...
Do you want me to play it?
How's the money helped? It got us a long way into purchasing our little slice of Aotearoa.
Yeah, I'll just trim it.
Hey, Hippie. Thanks for coming on, bro.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
You're welcome to You're welcome to stay if you like, but I'm sure you don't want
pretty
to.
busy today. I got a fair bit on. So.
Yeah, sure.
Fair enough, mate.
Alrighty. Take it easy.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, guys.
Go on you, mate.
Enjoy your last day.
How do I leave?
I can't hear you on, but see you, bro.
I'll kick you off. That's how you leave.
I
Well,
can't hear you. I'm going to follow Hippie and come back.
so that's it. That's it.
Just you and me. We've lost 2 guys in the space of about 2 seconds.
I had a feeling that it was going to be one of those eps. I had a feeling. But nah, George is back.
Oh, here it is.
Hey, George.
Oh, jeez.
Don't you, wait, weren't you enthralled by that story, though? Like, it's a pretty good story. Like, they made a big point out of it.
It was. I actually found that on the internet that when I was Googling Banksy how he did that, he sold them because those pieces of art that he does are worth like what obviously you saw in the previous documentary that Jonesy played about the shredded girl with the balloon, sold for 860 odd thousand pounds.
Yeah,
like these things are going for shitloads, and part of his whole thing was I'm going to sell them for $60 and no one's going to know.
Yep.
Did you see how they accidentally revealed how his mate accidentally revealed his identity? So it turns out he's the front man from Massive Attack. Remember that band from like 90s?
Yeah.
I think his name's like something Denaha, Robert Denaha or something. Robert Denaha. And his mate started talking about him, and he's like, because he was pissed that his paintings were selling so much. He's like, yeah, they're just sketches. Put that shit on your t-shirt. I mean, don't get me wrong, Robert's a nice guy or something. And then he's like, oh shit, I just said his name. And
But I think that's one. That's part of the speculation. That's one of the rumors is the front man from Massive Attack. No, but is Massive Attack a British band? Firstly, yeah, right. I didn't know that. Anyway, but I don't think anyone actually knows who he is. No, there's been a number of different.
Well, they reckon that there could be more than one Banksy. They reckon there could be like a number of them because if it's all, like stencils, yeah,
they're only stencils.
Yeah.
He started out, well, I think one thing they're sure of is that he came from Bristol. He was born in Bristol in the 70s, 73 or 74. I'm not quite sure.
The paintings come up when he was 1. Like what they started appearing.
Yeah, exactly. No, because he was a member of a street graffiti gang in Bristol. That's how he started, and he moved to London. I think they've traced it back because when the art started appearing on London walls regularly, it was in the 90s. And that's when they sort of managed to trace it back somehow. It's like contact tracing with COVID. That's what they've done with Banksy. And
graffiti tracing.
But he was a member of some graffiti gang in Bristol called the fucking, what were they called again? And they just went around graffitiing walls up, basically.
So I guess this is the thing, right? Like, because this is where everything we've said until now makes you think, yeah, okay, what a legend, doing all this selling his art for $60. But like, I also look at the graffiti and sometimes go, oh, why did you need to do that? Why did you need to, like classic graffiti? Like, there's a big thing in Girona where people paint vaginas on all the walls. Like, how in the rest of the world they paint.
Yeah, we do that in Australia. We draw dicks and balls all the time.
Yeah, but I always like dicks, the big one, a massive CMB, like the Tour de France. It's one of the best things you can see on the road. Just a massive CMB. Makes me laugh every time.
I saw a guy with a flag. I saw a guy with a flag once.
It's like the guy out of Superbad. I just couldn't stop drawing cocks and balls.
I had to ban everything that you eat that looks like the shape of a dick. Do you know how many foods? All the good things.
But like, it just made me laugh in Girona. Like, for some reason, the rest of the world's drawing penises on everything, and the Catalans are just drawing big vaginas all over the walls of everything. And in the Tour de France, actually, there's a crew of guys that go around before the race gets there, like trying to turn the dicks into something else. Like, they turn them into like smiley faces, or like they put a nose on them and like a moustache and stuff.
But Banksy was the one, like, because I grew up believing that you didn't graffiti someone else's property. It wasn't yours to do. Wasn't yours to do as you wish with. You didn't go around and tag someone's fence or someone's garage door or the bloody local library's back
real
wall.
low end stuff.
Like it was shit out. You didn't do it. Like, that's what scumbags did. But Banksy made graffiti woke, or woke. That word woke. That's how woke I am. I used to use the word woke. And But
I think you turned crime into art is maybe what we're looking for.
It became accepted. Now people are actually okay with graffiti. Like we play warball. You mentioned warball earlier in the episode. We play
Pigface.
We play Pigface. We play graffiti wall, one of our favorite walls, the graffiti wall. And it's just this mural of graffiti on this public wall that looks quite cool. So the council or the government's left it there. They're like, that's actually quite it's art.
Was a Pigface.
Was a Pigface, yeah.
So what you're saying, Sam, is if you like it, it's okay then?
Well, I'm saying that he created art out of crime, like George says. So because he was painting something relevant, something subjective, something like which raised eyebrows and created discussions and looked quite good because of the fucking stencil, people were like, "Oh, that's actually all right."
Yeah, but what if?
Why?
Okay, what if I had a great message? Like, okay, what if I went and painted on my terrible? If I went down to Dulux and got a couple of spray pans, and then went and drew a dolphin getting suffocated by a plastic bag, which is has a message, but it just looks it's like stick figures and highlighter orange, and like people are gonna be like, oh, don't paint that on my wall, man. Like, so just because you're good at it, like if Caitlin went and did it, she's a good artist. I still don't know if it would be necessarily.
No, I think Caitlin would get away with it. In fact, I think Caitlin should set a goal at being like the new Banksy.
Well, she did just paint a nice pair of my shoes for the Vuelta, and then part of it was she painted a guy spray painting over them.
Can you show us those?
Yeah, I can actually.
Yeah, don't talk about it. Show us. Oh, there you go. Oh, that's cool. That's Banksy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really good.
So do you reckon if Caitlin went and painted a Banksy stencil on a wall in Girona, people would assume that Banksy's been here, or they'd be like, "Oh, it's a knockoff." Like, how do you determine a knockoff Banksy painting?
Unless Banksy tweets it or puts it on Insta, it's not official. Because he normally takes a photo, doesn't he, to verify that that's a Banksy.
Yeah, right. Okay, because I was going to say, no one knows who he is. No one knows where he lives. No one knows where he is in the world. So why could he not have been in Girona last Wednesday?
Do you think about the logistics around Banksy? Do you think about like, let's say he's doing it on a crowded corner in New York, like a street corner in New York. It's a city that doesn't, it's not like, oh, after midnight everyone's in bed and you can just go down there and set your bloody station up and do it. He's going to have to, there's going to be a crowd there. There's always going to be,
and the mayor in New York was gunning for him. He said when he was in that month, he said, "Yep, we're going to catch him. He's just a criminal. He shouldn't be defacing like walls. Now he's got no right to pollute New York City." And they didn't get him. He's Batman.
Yeah, he is, eh?
Wow, and he's popping up in some pretty major locations. He's not painting the underpass down on C31.
No.
He's big street corners in London, and all right. So I think I just made my mind up just because old Giuliani, was it Giuliani that didn't like him?
Yeah, Bloomberg. I don't know. Yet again,
right,
shit research on this show.
I often decide if I like someone or not like them by who doesn't like them. You know what I mean? So therefore,
you're vindictive. You're vindictive.
Yeah, a little bit like, yeah. Exactly,
George. This will tip you over the edge. He raised $2.2 million for Greenpeace, I think.
Oh, George is going to love him. He voted Labour as well.
Yeah, love him. All right,
legend. I vote definitely legend. Big Banksy fan. And what are you, Bellin, Billy?
I reckon he's a ballad. I can appreciate what he's doing. I can appreciate the message he's getting out there. But ultimately, he's using a fucking stencil. Anyone can do the same shit. And why does he have the right to go and paint it on someone's bloody wall?
Jesus,
mate.
This hangover has turned you into a bellend, I tell you. You're real cranky mood, Anyway, we'll soldier on.
Fuck him.
The year better than 2020. Now, this is probably up for debate because there's a bit of a shitstorm in the year.
Not a good year, right?
I don't know if we really thought about this.
What have we got?
I was when we we started the segment, the whole idea, like we say every week, was to promote years that were better than 2020. Because in our mind, any year that we've been alive, certainly been alive, has been better than 2020. And then we picked this year, and then I was researching it this morning. I was like, this is a shocker. I don't know if this is better.
So can we call it a year marginally better? Because 2020 is still shit.
Yeah.
It's
marginally better.
On the whole, it probably came across better, but the world was never the same after this year. That's for sure. Traveling was never the same after this year.
No.
That's definitely for sure.
It felt like that was the year the world lost its innocence.
So if anyone hasn't guessed, it's 2001.
Yeah. So apologies, but let's dissect it. Do you want me to? So normally we'll kick off with Bewley. You can talk about music. I'll go through some films. George, you go through what Greenpeace did that year, and then we'll just dissect a couple of the big events. So the top 10 movies of that year was number 10 Hannibal, then Planet of the Apes, Jurassic Park 3. These aren't that great. Mummy Returns, Pearl Harbor. That was pretty shit. How they turned Pearl Harbor at the end into like this victory, like, you know.
It was just the start of 4 years of war.
Yeah, I know. Alec Baldwin going, hey,
they lost the whole naval fleet.
We've got to get back. We've got to get him back. Like, fuck off. Ocean's 11 was 5. Shrek was 4. Shrek was good. Monsters, Inc. Lord of the Rings. Hey, put New Zealand on the map. Fellowship of the Ring. And Harry Potter, Philosopher's Stone, number 1. But a couple of movies that weren't mentioned. Shallow Hell.
Oh, that was great.
That's absolute belter. Yep. And Tom.
Not sure. It wasn't Jack Black, was it? It was
yeah. And Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh yeah, it was Jack Black. I was thinking of the guy from Male Gigolo, whatever it's called.
Bruce Gigolo.
Bruce Gigolo. Male Gigolo.
Juice, not Bruce. Juice. Bruce Gigolo. Bruce Gigolo. It's Juice Bigelow.
Male Gigolo.
Bruce Gigolo.
No, that was Bruce Bigelow. It was Bruce Bigelow.
Bruce Bigelow.
Oh, was that not?
Fucking hell.
I don't know. All right.
There's another classic movie that year called it was Tom Green's classic Freddy Got Fingered. Did you ever see that movie? No,
that was a weird time. That was a weird time for humor that whole time, you know, because I remember if you watch that now, Tom Green now, you just think he's not funny, you know.
He's not funny at all, eh?
I've got the trailer for it. Do you want to watch that? Or?
Yeah, I just remember when he got inside an animal.
Yeah? Okay, I'll play it.
Tom Green.
He's a stupid. Not stupid. He's a stupid. Not stupid. He's stupid. Not stupid.
Freddy Got Fingered.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I still have some work to do. Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausage?
We're real proud of it. I think they could have come up with a better title.
Do you not think it was a weird humor in 2001?
Yeah,
it was all about being weird, you know, like I remember the videos and stuff that I used to find funny, and it was all like parody songs, like, you know, it was a real Weird Al Yankovic.
Tenacious
really
D.
Just weird stuff that it was all about being quirky, and that was funny.
Well,
I don't know if I love 2001.
Speaking of music and parodies like Weird Al Yankovic and Jack Black or Tenacious D, none of those songs made it onto the charts.
Didn't they?
But there were some absolute shockers on there. Again, we've plucked a year out of our hats that has produced some absolutely terrible music. Number 4's all right. Drops of Jupiter from Train. I don't mind that song. That's all right. And then we basically just plumb into the Janet Jacksons and the Alicia Keys, and the Lifehouse was number 1. Hanging by a Moment. Hanging by a moment here with that's a fucking wounder, eh? Wasn't that from like Dawson's Creek or some shit? That song.
I'm sure it got a run at some point.
That was Kiss Me, Dawson's Creek. That was
like Incubus Drive. Great song. Number 21. Like just edged out. What would you do from City High? What would you do if your son was at home crying
That's a
all
good
alone
song.
on the bedroom floor because he's hungry and the only way to feed him because to sleep with a man for a little bit of money when his dad is gone? That
We're
one.
gonna play Freddie Got Fingered again.
Uncle Cracker.
In 2011, I had dreads in 2011.
Did you?
I was running filthy dreadlocks.
But we're
Did you
doing
get photos of that?
We're talking about 2001, not 2011.
Yeah, where'd that come from?
I just wanted them. I wanted dreadlocks because I was wanted to be a muso, and that was my whole thing, to be in the band with dreadlocks and long hair and rock it out. But I had them for about 6 months, and they were just the most filthy things. And I remember they just had like food in them, and they had to wear headgear playing rugby, and they'd poke out, and then someone would rip one off, and like.
Are you like Tana Manga?
Oh yeah, I think I mean Tana was one of my idols, and then it's just not sustainable. And I used to you weren't allowed to wash them. I remember this. You weren't allowed to use shampoo, so like I had to go to the beach to wash your hair, like salt water. And it was admin involved, I remember specifically Mum driving me to the beach and to wash my hair. So that was pretty weird.
Did you have really oily, pimply skin as a result?
Nah, I was quite lucky with skin. I think it was before. I think I hit puberty when I was like 20, so that didn't really affect me. But yeah, just dreadlocks as an 11-year-old would not recommend.
No.
Are we going to touch on? I was just looking at. I've written down notable deaths of 2001, and there's actually quite a number of notable deaths.
I might have to. I've just realised I'm 15 minutes late for lunch, boys.
All right.
All right, we'll wrap things up, mate.
Okay.
All good.
Hey,
you go get some tucker. Good luck for the Vuelta, mate.
Thanks. Because this was going to be a Vuelta preview for everyone that was listening. As I'm walking out the door, it's 3 mountain stages on the trot to start. So we're going to know who wins the Vuelta straight away. If we make it to stage 13, there'll be a time trial, and then that'll be enough to decide a worthy Vuelta winner, is what I'm saying. Because after that, it's one mountain stage, but a lot of intermediate stages. So,
it's a real reverse Grand Tour, isn't it? The first week's really hard. The last week's not so hard.
It's a reverse Grand Tour because I'm reversing into the Grand Tour.
And are you going to get Roglic on the next step?
Yeah, we're gonna run a multi-captain system with Tom and Primoz as number one. Sepp's going to have a nudge himself, or he's not going to have a nudge, but he's going to.
No. I was talking about on the episode. I want them on the Social Distance podcast on the next rest day.
All right, I'll make sure we I'll catch. Yeah, let's shoot for something like that. So we'll make a time, and when Rogler's sniffing around, or I'll tell you what, we could get before we could do an ep as we're heading out for a ride with the boys, and we can get a few thoughts from Tom and Rogler and a couple of the boys.
Yeah, perfect.
You're a big promiser and you're an under-deliverer. We love it.
Yeah, I'm good at that. So,
oh well,
just everyone needs to brace themselves for no guest next week. And then all right, boys.
All right, see you, mate. That was George Bennett, folks. It was nice of him to take the time to join the show. Good to see he's doing well. Very positive. Couple of good insights and fucks off.
Mate, speaking of deaths, along with this show, along with this podcast after today's show, there was a number in 2001, and I've written down a list of real deaths that I remember, or deaths that have sort of had an impact on me, and that sort of took me back to. Are we going to talk about the one thing that killed most people that year, September 11? Or we're going to skim past it?
Well, it's always interesting because it's that one big moment. Like there's that when Lady Di died, where you will always remember where you were when it happened. And for me, it was a 2-week lead into, or I just started a job at liquor store in Melbourne.
I thought you said you weren't going to name them.
Not It was another name. Can't remember.
Bruce Gigolo.
I just won't name the location. And so anyway, I just started this job. I bombed out of university, and I had to get a job. So I got a job at, and I was out the back in the storeroom, and the guy I was working with, he was like the head storeman, and our job was to unpack pallets of piss and like put them all in the back storeroom and get it all sorted. After a couple of days, the guy I was working with, I had no idea what I was doing. Yeah, I'm driving a forklift at the time. In fact, I will bleep out the name of that store at the start. I'm driving a forklift, unlicensed, unpacking these pallets of piss, and literally when I'm driving up to unpack these trucks, I'm pulling levers and the things going up and down. I didn't know what I was doing, and then going unloading this bloody couple of ton of grog. Like this thing drops, and I'm in a bit of Barney rubble. Anyway, the guy I'm working with after 2 days, he said, "Fuck this, I'm out of here, mate. This joint's an absolute dog's breakfast." And I'm like, "Well, shit, what are you going to do? Leave me running the show? Like, I don't know what I'm doing." Anyway, they went in and met the boss, and a bit of a crisis meeting. He goes, "Mate, we've got some good news." I go, "What's that?" And he goes, "You're head storeman." I'm thinking, I don't want to be head storeman. I'm clearing $300 a week. I don't need that fucking pressure. I'm working 45 hours. So anyway, after about a week, like I'm in there, like working my ass off, smashing pallets because I don't know how to drive a forklift. And I remember one time I stacked up 18 boxes of debauchery cab sav, and they had a pallet jack and it had like a safety feature. If you hit the red button, it just takes off. Anyway, I bumped this bloody pallet jack. It's knocked this tower of like wine, smash, and all this red wine went flowing under the flaps into like the store. So if you were in the store, you would have heard this massive smash. Oh fuck! And then red wine just come running into the store.
Like a waterfall.
We had to do a stock take of how many bottles I smashed. It was 189 bottles. Never forget that number of debauchery cab sav, and it was a store record. In 25 years of operating, no one had ever smashed as many bottles as I did that day. So
how do you identify 189? Or was it on the pallet?
Grabbing wet boxes and going, well, there's another 12. Counting them up, like just constantly, there's another 12. And I remember the people like looking at that, everyone in the store had to pretty much down tools to come out and see what had happened. And it just looked like a murder scene. There was just red wine everywhere, glass, like, yeah, it was shocking. Took all Arvo to clean it up. Mind you, there was trucks banked up wanting us to unload their piss. It was a fucking shambles. So I got to the point with this job where I said to the bloke, "Listen, mate, I'm going to give you the heads up. Like, I can't work here any longer. This is fucked. But I'll give you a month's notice. I'll do the right thing. I'll work through Christmas." And I mustn't have been a good worker because he said to me, "Listen, mate, according to the bylaws, you only have to give us 4 days notice, so you can fuck off on Thursday." And I said, "No, I won't. No, I will not."
I will not.
You want to rethink that because I've been driving that forklift out the back without a license for a month. If you want to keep your job, how's this sound? I'll fuck off today and you can pay me for the rest of the month. Or I'll take it further and you're out of a job. And he waited up, and because he paid me cheese and crackers, he's like, "Okay, mate, off you go. See you later." So I got paid out for a month. Got me shrapnel. Didn't work. It was awesome. So it just shows when people try and put you in an illegal situation, just do it because you'll always have that up your sleeves when you need to pull the trigger.
Especially if you're working for massive unnamed corporations.
That's right. So anyway, that was September. That was in September of 2001. I remember I was so pinned after my first week. I said to my sister, "Listen, I need to get some sleep." I was living with my sister and her mate at the time. "Don't wake me up," because there was these bifolding doors and, you could hear the TV on. And I remember the night of the trade center, she came in and woke me up at like 11. And I remember going, "Oh, what are you doing? I told you I need to get good sleep." She goes, No, you got to go out. You got to see what's happening on the TV. And I'm thinking, what? Why would you wake me up? And I remember just seeing it live at like 11 p.m. The tower's on fire. And I remember just losing my mind. And then watched the towers fall, stayed up till like 4 or 5 in the morning because at the time, like, you know, everyone was like, "Oh, that's it. This the end of, like, there's going to be World War III." Like,
yeah.
that's it. And it was scarring. Like, I remember, you know, you'd have conversations with your parents the next day, and it just made you reevaluate everything. We didn't really think too much about terrorism back then, you know. Like,
It was the start of it, eh?
yeah,
Really.
and that was when
massive.
it just hit you between the eyes, and you're constantly seeing more and more images and more stuff that comes out. And there was a couple of real freakish stories. I remember Ian Thorpe was there, and he went to go take some photos at the World Trade Center that morning, and he forgot his camera, went home, went back to his hotel to get it, so he missed it. Leighton Hewitt had some press stuff booked in at the top of the towers. He'd won the US Open.
He won the US Open the day before, 2 days before, eh?
Something happened where he didn't see it. I think it was Seth Green, or is that the guy from Family Guy?
Seth MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane. He was meant to be booked on a flight, I think the one that hit the Trade Center, and he slept in and didn't make it. I should have probably researched that a bit better, but it was someone like that didn't get on the flight.
It may or may not have been Seth MacFarlane.
I think it is.
Yeah.
But it was someone of that sort of ilk that didn't get on the flight. But yeah, like you didn't see it live, did you? Because it would have been 3 hours late. It would have been like 2 in the morning in New Zealand.
It was the middle of the night, yeah. But I remember it very vividly. I was only young, 2001. I must have been I was only 13 or 14 years old. And I remember waking up to go to school, and my parents were up, and they had the morning news show on about 7 in the morning. And by this point, the towers had collapsed and everything had done, but they were just repeating like they did for days. They're still doing now, bloody 19 years later. But I remember, getting up and going to school, just thinking, holy shit, like this is, I didn't even know what World Trade Centers were really at that point. I was young. But I never, like you say, terrorism existed, like domestic terrorism certainly did, and certainly in places like America. But it was at that point, like as a young kid, I just remember going, holy shit, this is going to change the world. It is going to change the world. And it did. Like George said, like travel has never been the same since then. The security, the level of security, the heightened security, the fact that terrorism became like a real threat at that point. I've got a mate who works in insurance, actually. And I was in New York a couple of years ago, 2018 with him. And we went to Ground Zero and went to the museum. Then it's harrowing, eh? It's shit, man. It's pretty. Have you been to that museum, Jonesy? It's pretty sobering, eh? Fuck.
Yeah.
And he was telling me that. So his company that he works for, they insured all those buildings. So those 2 towers, and then the other, what was it? The tower that got hit? Tower
number
5
7.
Number 7.
Yeah.
And at that point, they didn't have tourism. Terrorism. They didn't have terrorism in the insurance policies. Yeah, and they basically, from that moment on, they went and just ripped up every single major insurance policy they had all around the world, and redid it. And now and that's when that policy came in, and that's why people now pay millions of dollars for policies of these big buildings. And like it was just like it shaped the world. It certainly shaped the world. And
for sure.
It started international terrorism. It started the fact that it's real, it's a threat, that it can happen, and we've got to be ready.
Did you know what's funny is back then, pre-September 11, the process of going through onto a plane was so just streamlined. Like you could pretty much take a Bowie knife on a plane. They didn't give a shit. But after that, remember, they did the scans and all this sort of stuff, and people were like, oh, geez, it's such a pain in the ass. Look at COVID. Just to get on a plane now is a privilege. Like, just to be at an airport, even if you had to wait 4 hours, just mentally going, I'm allowed to fly somewhere. I'm allowed to go more than 5 Ks from my house. Like, it's going to reevaluate everyone, like even through 2020, like what is restrictions and what is a like pain in the ass. I think things won't be considered a pain in the ass anymore because you've had all the basics stripped to the bone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like you think when you travel, like, and you and I are quite versed to traveling. We've done a fair bit of flying all around Europe on a weekly basis at some point. And you're always like, oh, fucking, I've got to go for this ball ache again, get on the train or get in a taxi, go to the airport. It's just a bit of a rigmarole. Like, I miss it now. I actually miss what I didn't enjoy at that point. And like you say, it's a privilege to travel now because A, where the hell are you going? And B, you can't get there. So if you do have the opportunity to travel right now, it's a privilege. And going through the old scan, it's in fairness, I have traveled during COVID, and going through the old airport security, it's a lot easier now without the lines. That's certainly true. But yeah, look, I mean, it was the start of international terrorism, there's no doubt. But domestic terrorism did exist, actually, because one of those notable deaths from 2001 was Timothy McVeigh. Do you remember Timothy McVeigh? You might not.
Uni Bobber.
Yeah. He was executed in 2001, actually, from the bombings in 96, I think it was, in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Or might have been a bit earlier. I remember him. That's bizarre that I was that age, and I remember that name, and I remember that execution so well because, like I said, I was only 13 or 14 years old. But it was at that point in my life where things were I was impressionable, and that was when the light got shone on me that executions still exist, because I was like, man, I never even knew about executions. And at that point, I was like, oh shit, it does. And I think it might have been the first execution for a long, long time in the States when he was executed. But yeah, it made me think, holy crap, that's actually a real thing. It's not just in the movies. But he probably deserved it ultimately.
Oh, I'd say yeah, it's a fair chance.
Killed 196 people.
Yeah, that'll do it. Who else was the notable death, or you just got the Unabomber?
Sir Donald Bradman. He died in 2001.
Oh yeah, legend.
George Harrison, Joe Ramone, a couple of good musicians.
Yep.
Peter Falconio as well. You'd know Peter Falconio being an Aussie. So Peter Falconio was a British tourist who disappeared on the highway out there in the Northern Territories.
Yep.
Assumed dead now.
Yeah.
People found his body. But like that sort of thing happens, like not all the time, but it happens, frequently to a sense, where tourists come to a certain country that either they're killed or they go missing or whatever. How come Peter Falconio's case got so much publicity? Why was that one plucked out of the...
Because when they went to find him, they shut down, like, it was a massive deal for Darwin. They blocked all the roads and did these massive road checks. And I actually went to, I can't even remember the name of the place now, where Joanne Lees went to the first pub. And I spoke to a guy there. I was filming something in 2008. And he was the first witness for when she ran in, because remember there was all this talk that she'd made the story up and there was all these conspiracy theories and that. And he was like, oh, no, mate, 100% whatever she was saying was real. Like, she didn't cook the story. He said she was obviously so rattled by the experience. But I was thinking about this the other day, is if you fit the profile, right? Because we had these political scandals or whatever in Australia, and the Premier of New South Wales is had a relationship with this other politician, and he's being investigated and all that sort of stuff, but it didn't get as much press. You've got to fit the profile. Like Joanne Lees was quite attractive, and if that gets eyeballs, like on magazines, newspapers, all that sort of stuff, like Chappelle Corby in Bali, if it fits that profile that ticks the boxes, that will sell.
Like Madeleine McCain. Like the Madeleine McCain case, like that's unbelievable. Like that on a global scale, that is huge. Like everybody who's had their head above ground for the last X amount of years knows about Madeleine McCain. But why her? Why that case? When there's so many cases of that happening around the world, every year.
If you tick the boxes of like the image of what is marketable, and if like Madeleine was a cute little girl and had that cute little face, and that picture then when they plastered on newspapers or whatever, that grabs people's heartstrings, and it just ticks all those boxes of what essentially sells news and sells newspapers. Like, let's be honest, like if you tick those boxes, it just gets bloody massive mainstream. And people, even with that case, I was listening to a few podcasts, I was saying how much money that got invested into that investigation. Yet, as you said, this stuff happens all the time. Why their case over everyone else's? But society, mate.
That's it, eh?
Fuck it.
And
Can't do anything about it.
The last notable death to finish the show was Hank, the angry drunken dwarf.
Who?
Hank, the angry drunken dwarf. Do you not remember Hank, the angry drunken dwarf? He was on one of those Howard Stern show, I think. I think it was on Howard Stern show. Yeah, he was just like a regular on the Howard Stern show, and he just used to drink piss and just yell abuse. And he was nicknamed Hank, the angry drunken dwarf. He died in one as well. So yeah, on that note,
good way to finish the show on a couple of notable deaths. 2001 as a year.
Banksy's a bellend. Well, he's a legend. He's a legend and a bellend. He split the votes.
Well, I think one thing we'll guarantee next week, we will have Primoz Roglic on the show and Tom Dumoulin. We will make sure George does that, even if he has to pre-record something on his phone.
Yeah,
we'll make sure he does it. And big shout out to everyone. Next week, we're going to feature the best of the hashtag OL 2022.
Yeah,
because there's been plenty of people using the hashtag at the moment, and everyone's getting reasons to do this daily. Well, let's be honest, 2020 is just not going to stop. Like Alaphilippe, I mean, that would have been perfect timing. Oh well, 2022.
Oh well, 2022, and yeah, thanks to Miller Resorts, Maldives. For giving us that prize of the week. We've got some making up to do, so we're going to thank them on the show every now and again.
And next week we're going to have a website with potentially some merch. It's been a long build up, but you've got a man who's helping us out, Bewls.
Yeah, well, my mate back home, he started a website a couple of weeks ago. I was chatting to him about it. He started a website called witchbox.co.nz, which is basically brings together all the different food box options in New Zealand. So, you've got your My Food Bag and all these things, brings them all together in one website, witchbox.co.nz, and you can, save money, save time by comparing these options, and it's just a good place to reach those options. So one-stop shop, we'll say. So he created that, and I was looking at it, I thought, shit, he's done a good job there. So then I just asked him, now he's making our website. He's a WordPress genius. He's going to finish it off for us, hopefully in the next couple of days. I've got a message from him on the phone actually now. So yeah, let's hopefully launch that during the week or before the next episode.
Yep.
So we're movers and shakers. Love you all.
Good.
See you next week.
Good stuff. See you later.